everybody, Drew here for Games here on YouTube.com, coming at you with another episode of the Games or the DDG podcast, or what we try to pass off as a podcast at least, for episode 30. On today's episode, we will be talking about, or rather previewing, Gamescom 2021, as well as the upcoming Xbox event or stream or whatever you want to call it for August 24th, 2021 as well. Joining me to do so, as he always is here, otherwise we usually don't do this, my younger brother Desert Nord. Hey bro.
Hey there.
How's it going and what have you been up to?
Going pretty good. I just kind of wrapped up things in Merkmeyer on ESO yesterday.
You released a video recently on your channel making fun of Biden again.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah.
So if you're into making fun of the president, go check out Desert Nord's channel, because that's all he really does anymore, apparently.
It's just a coincidence.
Other than he used to do jokes about, or memes about me on there, but he since moved on to someone that actually matters, apparently.
Well, you matter, bro. It's just that, you know.
Except for I'm not a walking...
is what gets me,
Except for I'm not a walking meme every time I take a breath.
No.
Unlike Biden.
Yeah, especially lately.
Between my butt's been wiped and looking like he took 100 Xanax for dinner, I don't know which is funnier.
Yeah, it's a bit of a ride these past
But
months.
with that being said, everybody, Gamescom 2021.
Yep.
I'm only going to talk about the major publishers or developers that are, according to what Desert Nord learned for last week from that list. If you haven't checked out episode 29, please do so. For the more complete list of who's confirmed for Gamescom, but I only wrote down the major players of the gaming industry for it. Like 505 Games, Activision, Bethesda, and EA. And speaking of EA, a quick public service announcement. Don't touch Madden 22. It's more broken than Cyberpunk was at launch. And it doesn't even come out till, I think, tomorrow night, so. Because at the time of the recording of this, it's Wednesday evening.
Yep.
So... It's barely worth what the price of the disc that is printed on. However much the disc is worth, I don't know. Because I don't know how much it costs to produce the discs for the game.
The disc is a very small fraction of the price of the game.
So yeah, it's only worth that, if at all. Would it be worth downloading once it's available widely in EA Play via Xbox Game Pass Ultimate? To download and actually see if it's functional by then? Probably, but it ain't worth playing at this point because it crashes like every other thing you do. But I'll get more into that for an Is It Worth It coming up soon for that. But 505 Games. I think they are most known for lately the Hitman series. So, what do you think we're going to see from 505 Games at Gamescom? Bro?
Well, I'm not exactly sure what we'll see. I hope that something interesting. I've read rumors, but whether or not they're true or how much they're true is, you only can know after the fact.
Yeah. The prediction that I wrote down for 505 games was Hitman 3 DLC, because otherwise I got nothing here. Anything else to add for 505?
Yeah, not really. I don't have much of anything to add on that one.
Activision is a publisher that you've interacted with a lot over the last, 20 years?
Yep. Definitely one of the more prevalent ones in my libraries.
So what are you thinking for Activision that they might do?
Well, they've kind of fallen a bit from their heyday, obviously, but they're good at racing games, sports games. I think sports, like I said, they're probably going to do sports reveal, something in that realm. Probably not all that exciting.
So you're thinking? Wait, no. Need for Speed now is EA, I believe.
It is, yes.
So we're talking about Activision here.
Yeah, I know.
So you think Activision's going to do a sports game?
Yeah, that would be my best guess. Some kind of sports title release or reveal.
Alright, I don't remember the last time Activision did a sports game outside of Tony Hawk.
No, they should. I'll just leave it at that, I guess.
Okay, so I guess you got your first bold prediction. Desert North thinks that Activision's going to make a sports game, and then basically reveal it for Gamescom. The only thing that would be meaningful to me is if they actually were allowed to do an NFL simulation game. In the case of Activision.
Yep.
Although I wouldn't put it past them to do microtransactions just like EA either, because it's Activision. Just saying. But as far as
they've fallen, like I said, from their heyday.
But as far as my prediction for Activision goes, for Gamescom, I got down here. Considering that you said that there was a rumor about them doing gameplay for something, right?
Sure, yeah, that's most likely what will happen. That's like the less bold prediction. I'm just not sure if I'm not sure what it would be necessarily.
So my prediction is gameplay for the next Call of Duty.
Well, that's one of the rumors.
After Black Ops Cold War, so. And that's probably the safer one. Yeah. However, this next one it couldn't be any more obvious if it walked up to you, punched you in the face, and shot you in the foot, so going, "Hi, I'm here." Bethesda Softworks. Starfield. And this isn't listed as a prediction. This is listed as pretty much confirmed, because Bethesda Softworks is confirmed to be there. What else could they fucking show? Nothing.
Yeah.
Because all anyone will ever want to see until it comes out, holiday of 2023, 2022, I mean. It feels like it's going to be 2023 at this rate. Is the actual release of Starfield. So until it comes out November of next year, which by that time I should be in Arizona by then.
Yeah.
All any of us are going to want to see is, or hear about, is Starfield, or see gameplay until then. So with Bethesda Softworks being at Starfield, or being at Starfield, being at Gamescom.
Yeah.
With Bethesda Softworks being at Gamescom, not being at Starfield, all they could do is show Starfield. That's what I was trying to say.
That's the number one rumor of the entire show.
Yeah, is actual gameplay of Starfield.
Yeah.
Because we got a release date. We know generally what it ought to be, a space exploration RPG like thing, but we won't know like specifically what kind of space exploration RPG until we see gameplay. Well, on what's the date for Gamescom? It's the day. It's the day before the Xbox event. So the 23rd. So in less than a week from now, or give or take about a week from now, one of the two. Yeah. So with that, my prediction for Bethesda is they're gonna be showing us gameplay of Starfield, and well, actually, that's not really a prediction. That's basically confirmed, but not.
Yeah, I mean, it's all but confirmed. Yeah.
So then the prediction would be how much gameplay we'd see. My prediction then for Bethesda is 20 minutes of gameplay for Starfield. You?
Yeah, I mean, they could easily do that. I mean, it's been in production long enough.
Yeah.
And it would make people happy.
Yeah.
If they care to do that.
That would be the highlight of Gamescom, for sure. And that would be a great closer for it, in my opinion.
Yeah, assuming there's no shocking release reveal or something.
Yeah. Like, God forbid a Knights of the Old Republic 3, which is what some of us have been asking for since 2006.
Sure, just like Elder Scrolls 6, right?
Well,
it's the same thing.
Well, first of all, actually worse.
Yeah.
Because people have been wanting a Knights of the Old Republic 3 since before Skyrim was ever even a thing.
I know. And it isn't like it didn't deserve one.
The only thing wanted more, in my experience with being on the internet and talking to gamers and whatnot, other than Elder Scrolls 6, would probably be third. KOTOR 3 would probably be second, and Half-Life 3 would be number one. I feel. Right?
Yeah.
But with that being said, the final company to discuss here is the company that we don't really want to talk about, but we have to, and that's Electronic Arts. So what are you thinking for EA? Because Madden actually comes out Friday. Like effectively less than a week, just barely, before the event.
If I remember correctly, I think I had said FIFA.
I believe that was me when we were discussing things off camera.
Okay, well, maybe it was you, maybe it was me, I don't even know, but...
So you're thinking FIFA now?
Well, that would be my not bold prediction. My not bold one would be just a FIFA title.
Yeah. My standard prediction will be them just showing off FIFA. Gameplay or trailer. Because I believe FIFA doesn't come out till after the event, I think.
Yeah.
By like a month, maybe? Because it usually comes out after Madden, I think, most of the time.
Yeah.
But either way. But as far as, like, what we don't know, and now this is where we'll go into the speculation part. What do you feel we could see for a closer for the end of Gamescom? So this is the bold prediction area here. So what would you boldly predict to be the surprise announcement of Gamescom if I have one?
Well, we know that they've been working on some games that everyone's been waiting for a while.
Yeah.
Showing gameplay doesn't really qualify as shockers for already announced games. It would be nice, but it doesn't count as a surprise.
There was
So it would have to be something like an announcement of a new game that no one saw coming. So it'd be in that category if you ask me. Now, what specifically? Maybe Metroid.
well, we know that Metroid 4 was announced like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Give or take. But has since gotten rebooted or like scrapped and restarted development of it.
Yeah.
So we don't know when that's coming anymore. So just a reintroduction of it would probably be alright, I think.
Yeah.
Plus, aren't the big three supposed to be involved with Gamescom this year?
That's what it said.
So that being Sony, Nintendo, and Microsoft. But I left all
Sure,
of
but
them.
we don't expect Nintendo to go too hard because they do their own thing anyway.
And I don't expect Sony to do actually anything because they haven't done really anything in years. Look at E3.
Yeah.
They've stayed away from it since 2018, 19.
The only headlines I can expect are more in the Xbox realm.
Yeah.
Just on account of the other two not wanting to touch it much.
Which is why, I think you said last week that Xbox and Microsoft were confirmed to have a presence there, right?
Yeah.
Even though they have an event the next day. Okay.
Sure, I know, right? It's weird.
But with that being said, this is my prediction, and it will come.
Unless they intend to double whammy the audience or something.
Which is kind of what my bold prediction is, a double whammy, like an announcement of something, and then like going more into it at their event the next day. Because I do have something written down for Xbox that I'm going to bring up here as my bold prediction to close out Gamescom. A game that was basically announced to be in development by a certain studio at Microsoft, as in at Microsoft Game Studios, but all we got was a teaser logo and nothing else. Kind of like Starfield at the time at E3 for Bethesda. So my bold prediction is that we're actually, for Gamescom, going to get a proper re-announcement and an actual trailer with a general premise of what the game is actually going to be like. Not straight gameplay, but just effectively like a stylized trailer. But at the Xbox event the next day, then, this game would then have to get a gameplay demo then.
Yep.
But I don't think the game is ready for any of that yet that I'm about to say. But this is why it's called a bold prediction, folks. Do I expect it to happen? No. Do I want it to happen? Fuck yes. And to close out Gamescom, I'm predicting a reintroduction to Playground Games' take on Fable by Xbox Game Studios. That would be a good closer, in my opinion. To actually find out what they actually intend to do with Fable. Because we know it's coming. Microsoft already confirmed that at an event last year. In 2020. And it's been like a year since then, so you gotta have something to show at this point. Even if it's only like a stylized trailer. Now, Microsoft could save that for their own event and do something else.
Yeah.
Like maybe close out this event with the actual release date of Halo even, which is I think probably more realistic to say. Right?
Yep.
Which on that note, my bold prediction, I stand by what I said. My bold prediction is Fable reintroduction and and whatnot.
Yeah, Halo Infinite is one of the things that we're expected to hear about.
The most, yeah. But that being mostly at the Xbox thing the next day.
But, maybe not the most, but we expect to hear something.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be no noise about Halo Infinite at all. That would be disappointing for a lot of people.
Especially since it's supposed to be coming out this holiday. It's mid-August now. And there's only a release window, but it's coming out this holiday. Microsoft has to put a date on it like yesterday. At this point, or come out and say it's delayed again. So it is in it. Well, you will either have to confirm it's indeed in development hell, or it's actually coming out on a specific day this year, guys. Because you've already delayed it a couple of times by now.
Yep.
But speaking of that closed out the prediction for Gamescom, I feel, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So the Xbox event the next day, on the 24th. The things I got listed that are predictions for me that I expect to see at it, be it either official release dates, a trailer like reintroducing it like Fable, or like just more like showing off the game in the case of like Psychonauts and an actual release date and showing off of Tunic and more of the medium. Even though I don't want to see more of the medium, just release the fucking game at this point. However, there is one thing that I do have down here for the Xbox event that isn't so much a prediction as in if it's not there, there's probably going to be a lot of backlash, and that's Halo Infinite. Because you need to put out a release date, Microsoft, at the bare minimum, and a straight gameplay demo with someone actually playing it because it's your stage.
Yep.
Yeah. Otherwise,
there are certain things that will be automatic disappointments for the whole show.
Yeah.
But
no, in terms of
we hope there's surprises. Surprises can usually be good.
No, I don't. Like I don't actually expect Tunic to be there because Microsoft already did like a week or two ago, like an indie presentation. So I think this would probably be more for AAA stuff than anything else.
Yep.
So with that being said, with AAA in mind, I'm not saying that anything I'm about to say now doesn't mean that it's confirmed or that we expect it. It would just be interesting to see, is all I'm saying. So this is just wild speculation with nothing to back it up at this point. So take it all with not really a grain of salt, but go to the Salt Planet from Disney's Star Wars sequel trilogy and start licking the ground. Amount of salt. Yeah. A planet made of salt at this point. Because could any of this happen? Yeah, of course it could. Will it? Not likely. And when I say not likely, I mean you might as well assume that it won't. So with that being said, Gear 6.
Yeah, but given what they've done with the series already, it'd be kind of hard to be excited about.
Well, that's kind of the case for Halo Infinite, because look how Halo 5 Guardians was.
Yeah.
So, Halo's kind of in the same boat anyway, but yet people still seem to be excited about that, so.
Yeah. And that tends to happen when you have too many games in a series. It gets off the trail.
Now, there is one thing that I written down that you probably could expect to see like more of it, and that's Forza Horizon 5, because that
Yeah,
doesn't
there
come
will
out.
be. I'm quite sure there will be gameplay of that one.
Okay, well, we've already seen gameplay of it. We already know its release date. I already have it
Yeah.
pre-ordered, or well, not pre-ordered, but pre-installed from Game Pass, because I'm going to be playing it at launch on Xbox One, because it is coming out for Series X and Xbox One, thankfully.
Yeah, we expect to see some sort of. Hell, it might even be a cinematic. Who knows about it?
But let's see, what else does Microsoft own? Uh, could we see a tease for? Well, considering Bethesda's at Gamescom, could we see like another tease for the Indiana Jones game from Bethesda Game Studios?
Well,
Just to try to remind
another one
people
that's
that
hard to be
they,
excited about.
well, it's hard to be, but at the same time, I could see intriguement being possible because we haven't had like anything outside of a Lego Indiana Jones game
If you think
for
about
I
it,
don't know
though,
how long.
if you think about it, what happened with the game industry and that series was that they had a moment where fans would have been so receptive to a game series featuring Indiana.
Yeah.
But then they went and made Uncharted and sort of blew that whole load of interest on Nathan Drake, you know.
Well, even before that, we had Laura Croft too.
No, I know those are two different series,
I know.
and yeah, they're in the same kind of realm, but I meant that no one had known about the IP of Uncharted until they played it, and they went, "Oh wow!" But then it became a really successful series and sort of burned all the powder that an Indiana Jones series would have.
Mhm.
It's like if they don't do it right, why would you prefer to play that over just playing Uncharted? you know, like it shouldn't end up being like Indiana Jones's game is a dollar store version of Uncharted, because that's what they'd end up making.
Yeah. There is one game that we need to see at the Xbox event, and that's Avowed, which is
Yeah,
Obsidian's attempt at an Elder Scrolls series from the trailer, at least.
yeah.
So, is that confirmed for the event? I don't think so. Do we need to see it? Absolutely. We need to see it about as much as we need to see Halo's release date at this point, at least as far as I'm concerned, anyway.
Yeah, the thing I worry about is they try to do it like really realistic world type game like that,
Yeah.
and that's already been done perfectly, and there's no way it can be outdone. Okay, and that's Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Yes. But that
There's no
was,
way that can be done better.
but I believe that studio was called Warhead, or Horsehead or Warhead Studios or something along those lines.
Yeah, but there's no way that can be done better than they did it. It just can't. Like I don't see how you could do it better than that.
Personally, I didn't care for the fighting mechanics uh, in Kingdom Come Deliverance, personally, but
Well, sure, nothing is perfect, so there's always little things. But I'm
so
talking about the basic plot and the
the basic plot of the
style and
game,
all that.
and the style of the game and the feel of the game was arguably one of my favorite games of all time. But it's
Yeah,
hard to get into because of the fighting mechanics, though.
yeah.
So the fighting mechanics, I feel, hold that game back quite a bit. But that's just my opinion. Now, if the
What I'm saying is, if they try and go into something like a real world based, medieval type game, that's already been done better before, and there's no way they're going to top it.
well, from an
So they could go fantasy,
so
but
so
that's been done 100 times too.
so as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to Kingdom Come Deliverance, from an atmosphere an environment, and a narrative standpoint, there was nothing better than that game. From a gameplay standpoint, there was a lot better than that in in
Sure.
in my personal opinion. Now, if you had everything that the Kingdom Come Deliverance was, with everything good about it, and you replace like the combat system with something similar to Skyrim, that easily would have beat Skyrim, no question, in my
You have to
opinion.
remember though, they wanted to. What they did was they tried to make hyper realism, as true to real life as possible.
Yeah.
And in doing that, they probably sacrificed a lot of fun.
Yeah.
The fun aspect.
Indeed. And that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Yeah. It's not as fun, but it's a hell of a lot more realistic than anything you see at Skyrim.
Yeah. There's going for realism, but you can go too far, which kind of what slightly happened.
Because at a certain point, like, if I wanted to live real life, I'd go do it.
Yeah.
The difference, the intrigue there is that a lot of the stuff you can do real life there in that game, you can't do because this isn't medieval Europe.
Yeah.
But in Skyrim, there's a whole list of things you could never do in real life. Like dragon shouts and taking on dragons with a sword and stuff. They don't exist, so.
Obviously.
So there's a lot of fantasy involved in that.
But with that being said, Avowed needs to be actually shown off proper. Hopefully Obsidian finally has something for that. Other than that, that's all I can really think of that really matters to me at this point for the Xbox event. Halo, Fable, Psychonauts 2, I'll probably play it only because it's in Game Pass at some point. Tunic, I'm actually looking forward to, but that is more of an indie title. And then the Medium, I think, is next gen only, so that probably writes us out of playing that anyway.
Yeah.
Because I understand they're being next gen only games, but at the same time, when no one can buy the console, who the fuck is that game for at that point then? Other than anyone who was lucky enough to get their hands on one, which is only a limited amount of people at this point, which means that you're not going to sell as many copies as a game on next-gen systems as you think you're going to. Because let's say that there's 5 million Xbox Series X's out there, right?
Yep.
Bro?
Mm-hmm.
And usually when a game comes out, not everyone who bought the system will buy the game, which means you're not selling 5 million copies of a game for the Xbox Series X only. Maybe
you're only selling,
it's more reasonable to say you're probably total going to sell like 1 million copies. And that's the low end, I think.
Yeah.
Because not everyone plays everything.
Yeah, the popularity.
Spoiler warning for the gaming industry.
I was going to say, the popularity of the game is capped by the popularity of a console.
Yeah. Now, if you
were basic concept.
If you were to release a game for just the Xbox One and forego the Series X, you're probably going to sell a lot more copies of it because there's like, and I'm going to be generous here, like 70 million Xbox Ones out there, regardless of the model. So in theory, you would sell a lot more copies of that game on the Xbox One versus the Series X or S.
Now you basically have a several million copy floor on Xbox One.
Yeah, as opposed to Series X.
Game.
And the same
as opposed to the couple million ceiling on Series X. And
considering that it's just as hard to get a PlayStation 5, all of this applies to PlayStation as well, by the way. So the best example for PlayStation is Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. That is only on PS5. And for the sake of not arguing at this point, let's just say PS5s also have 5 million units out there, with like 10 million owned by scalpers at this point, which I think is reasonable number in comparison to how many people actually got their hands on one.
Yeah, it's not as much as it should be.
Yeah. And with that said, my bold prediction of the of the Xbox event, Microsoft make an announcement to force retailers to do their fucking job and actually sell the system to actual fucking customers instead of online only to fucking bots.
Yeah.
And yes, I'm going to keep beating that dead horse until the rest of the world knows what Dozer and I already know, that the horse has been dead since launch.
Yeah, it's a console that's not getting very far off the ground because
no one can buy them.
Stock is getting absorbed.
Yeah, and what limited stock is there, no customer can get their hands on because anytime they come into the store that I work at, they're gone to bots even before they get off the truck. And I've seen this in real time because I work in the retail industry for like the next year now until I moved to Arizona. And once that happens, I'm fucking leaving the retail industry because I can't take this shit anymore. So, with that being said, I don't have anything else for the preview for the two events.
There's really nothing else to say. We're kind of going over every aspect, I think.
Anything else from here just to fill out to about like 40 minutes or so for an episode, which is about 4 or 5 more minutes here. It's just going to be rambling about things at this point.
Yeah, I mean, the thing, bro, though, I would say about both events is that they have this problem with a disconnect between the gaming community and the journalist community and them.
And retailers, too.
Retailers. They're not even, I don't even know what their relationship between retailers is. But
all I know is retailers all retailers are doing with all of this is screwing over Sony and Microsoft and their own customers. So,
yeah, the problem they have though is that the game review and journalist community wants one thing, gamers want one thing, and retailers want another.
Yeah, all the retailers want are the money, and seemingly don't give a fuck about their public image or their relationship with their own customers. Despite what the higher ups at any retailer's headquarters want to tell you, they're going to give you that big smile like a used car salesman.
Yeah. And, you'd think that the only motive of the console developer themselves would be selling units.
Yeah.
Or at least selling games for the units, because that's where they make their money.
Yeah.
You think that would be their only motive?
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like it isn't.
Mm-hmm.
They've got some other set of motives.
I'm not sure what the motive is for retailers at this point, other than they got their money. Why should they care where the fuck it came from?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, while retailers got their money, because Sony and Microsoft sell the systems at a loss, they're only losing money.
Yep.
Mostly because most systems aren't in the hands of gamers or customers or whatever you want to call us. They're in basements or storage of retailers. God damn it. Scalpers. Is what I meant. Well, they might as well be retailers at this point because they're the only ones that are selling them.
Yeah, freelance retailers. That's what they call themselves.
That's what they call themselves. I call them fucking assholes.
Yeah, well.
I call them for what they are.
The industry or personal gain.
if you were to call them criminals, I wouldn't disagree with you, but I wouldn't do that outright either.
Well, it's probably not legally true, so
but
no, they're not criminals.
But
it hasn't been illegalized.
But it's morally wrong. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. It's like pawnbroking with even less scruples.
First of all, that's the meaning to pawnbrokers. First of all.
You know what I'm saying? So,
I know what you're
I'll
saying.
take your stuff and give you some pennies and then sell it for some dollars. Great. Awesome.
Yeah, except for in the case of some of them on eBay, yeah, they have pictures of the system that they'll sell you too, which is not actually the system. And all you are, eBay is enabling this shit, so go fuck yourself too.
Yeah.
Kind of like how Twitter will ban a certain somebody off Twitter because he's a national threat, but yet let the Taliban on Twitter. Yeah, sure. Same equivalent as far as I'm concerned.
But yes, the gaming developer should care that their bread and butter is being taken from them.
Well, in the case of developer, they should care that their game isn't getting played by as many people as possible. The console manufacturers, Sony and Microsoft in this case, and there is a reason why I'm not talking about Nintendo is because you can actually walk in the store and find Switches on the store shelf.
Yeah,
oh my God!
It affects everything.
Yeah.
And it's like they don't care.
Which coincidentally,
It affects the developer because they're looking at a sales cap in their game because the console can't get popular enough because the scalpers are all stocking them in their basements. You can't. I mean, you almost can't make this up.
Yeah, and I know what some people in the comments are gonna say. You guys are talking about this for like the millionth time. Yeah, because it's still a problem. Nothing has changed. We're going to keep beating this dead horse till the rest of the world, like I said earlier, until anyone else but Desert Nord and myself also know that the horse is dead, and yet we're still beating it. And we're the only ones that notice that we're beating a dead horse. And when I say until somebody else notices, I mean retailers, Sony, and Microsoft notice that their horses are dead and have been dead the entire time because of the retailers.
Yeah.
And we're going to keep beating this dead horse, like I keep saying, till Sony and Microsoft finally notice.
Mm-hmm.
And if that means that we have to get out here every single week and say this every single week, fine, we'll do it. Do we want to? No. We want to be able to enjoy a PlayStation 5 and Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart or an Xbox Series X.
The ironic thing is,
and whatever games are come out for.
They'll only help themselves.
Yeah. If you Sony and Microsoft actually listen to your fan base, people like us, and not stupid fucks like IGN who will just lie to your fucking face and tell you everything's okay. No, everything's not okay. You're losing fucking money hand over fist.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they don't wonder why they can barely make their money back on a new release because your release is capped. Because of your incredibly bad rollout of the recent system.
If those of you at Sony and Microsoft are wondering why you're having such an issue with selling systems once they get to the stores and why people can't buy them, come to this channel and listen to us. We've been saying it basically the whole time.
Yeah.
I remember having a video called Fuck Sony on the channel at one point.
Yeah.
Which was centered around the pre-order process of trying to get a PS5.
Yeah.
And that video got like 500 views at the time.
Yeah.
So, now that video is not here anymore. I don't have that video anymore, and I don't have access to it anymore. But it is what it is. I've been here since launch of the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, saying that there's a problem here. Since before they came out, since the pre-orders went live.
Yep.
And yet nothing has changed nearly a year later. Or about a year later.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, in some ways, it's even gotten worse. Because, at least with the pre-orders, some people were able to get through to get their pre-orders, and at launch of the system, some people were able to secure one. Albeit, from what I heard, mostly at GameStop, which were only allowing people to walk in and buy them.
Yeah.
Only.
And by the way, the more comfortable they get with moving to only releasing on the new consoles, the worse it'll get.
Yeah. The fewer and fewer copies of physical games or digital games you will actually be selling on those systems until this is fucking solved.
Yep.
No, you can blame it on the shortage of the systems, and you'd be half right. That is half the problem. The other half is once you flood the market with like enough stock, as long as you are only allowed to buy them online, customers will only be able to compete with bots for all of it. Which means all you'll be doing is flooding the basements of scalpers with systems at that point.
Yeah.
It's as much up to Sony and Microsoft as it is to retailers to actually fix this.
And of course, in the process, allowing those people to essentially steal from them.
Yeah.
You know.
Because
sale.
Because when scalpers sell it on eBay, they sell it for like 2, 3, 4, 5 times the actual retail price, which is $500. In the case of the Xbox Series X and the physical edition of the PS5. I just realized what the name of this episode is going to be. Official Gamescom and Xbox event preview and end with a rant.
Yeah.
Why do I feel like gamers are being brainwashed too?
Well, other folks are pointing out that gaming community is being flooded with people that are not actually gamers.
Yeah. I think the episode of this gaming podcast, its theme song for the Spotify playlist needs to be Tom McDonald's Brainwashed at this point.
Maybe.
What do you think?
It's up to you.
I know. And that's another thing about picking teams and whatnot. You don't have to pick teams. You don't just have to play on Xbox. Last I was aware, it's supposed to be a free country, but it's feeling less and less like that all the time. But you're free to play on Xbox and PlayStation and Nintendo if you want, like I do. And if you can't afford to do that, then you can't. And there's nothing wrong with that either. And the reason I bring this up is because earlier today, CD told me that he was trading in his PS4 to get a Switch because he's pissed at Sony right now. And when a PlayStation fanboy gets pissed at you, Sony, that's your fault.
It's also a bad sign because there's a list of things that have come and gone that he didn't react to. So they're in deep trouble.
Yeah, but his reasoning was not so much something that Sony did, something that he did, and he can't fix it. So he's
Yeah.
pissed at Sony for it. So, like a typical leftist,
Okay.
he feels like he's a victim.
Yes.
So what happened with him is this, and I'll close out the show with this, and I hope he's okay with me saying this, but uh, they were recently having power outages at the house, and and CD was trying to play PlayStation, and
Yep.
as anyone who has used a PS4 knows, that's the worst thing you could do with your PS4 is the power goes out while you're playing it. Then next time you boot it up, you're gonna have to like try to repair the hard drive because the PlayStation 4 does not like these ways of turning it off. Unplugging it from the wall, unplugging the power cord from the system, or the power going out. Right?
Yep.
So because of that, he has issues, and now there's nothing on his hard drive. It's completely wiped because of it, or at least as far as he told me.
Yep.
Which is why he is going to be leaving PlayStation, according to as of right now, trading it in and getting a Switch. And then therefore he was asking me about like continuing our other stuff in party chat on the Switch. I'm like, dude, that's not possible because the Switch doesn't have party chat whatsoever.
Yep.
Yeah. So the best thing that I feel he could do, and CD, if you're watching this, as I hope you are, the best choice for you to do is, well, in terms of like having a fun gaming experience, probably is getting a Switch. But in terms of like having a proper online experience for gaming and a good party chat system,
Yep.
it's on Xbox, my brother.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. And then there's all the benefits of Xbox Game Pass, which if you have Game Pass Ultimate, and I know that he also games on PC, CD, you can also do that on your PC as well. You can play all those games from Game Pass, or others that are only available on Game Pass on PC too. Then at that point, without actually having to buy them. So it's only going to save you money, my brother, to trade in your PS4 for an Xbox.
Yeah, there's really a lot of upsides actually.
Yeah. But he'd rather be the victim and go get a Switch instead. I'm not going to argue with him because it's his choice to make, but either way. But with all that being said, what are you going to be up to after this? Since we're going to go through the outro now.
Playing my games as usual.
Playing Elder Scrolls Online still?
Yep. Until I'm done with it as much as possible.
I'm going to get back to Mass Effect 2 Legendary Edition, as you guys see on the screen here. Which is what I've been up to lately. Other than I was trying to play through the trial of Madden 22, but as I said at the top of this, it crashes more than Cyberpunk 2077, so don't waste your money on it at all at this point. It's barely worth the amount that it takes for the disc to get made. Or the disc that's printed on, I should say. With that being said, anything new coming up for you?
I don't have anything new planned. I'm just going with the flow.
I'm going to be trying to work through the scores of Pokemon Snap and ESO Blackwood at some point. I probably could just write down the ones for Blackwood at this point. I just haven't done it yet.
Yeah. Yeah, me and you gotta play together a little more.
Yeah. I'm going to try to be doing that soon, hopefully. But beyond that, let me take a look at something on my computer here while we're still filming. Let's see. Do I have anything going on for pre-orders for games anytime soon? I don't think so, not till January. Well, I do have a shirt coming tomorrow. I might do an unboxing for that tomorrow. When is this due? January, it looks like, for Among Us. That's supposed to come out this year, so that should change. Oh, there's Far Cry 6 in October that I'll be covering because that's pre-ordered. There's Elden Ring in January.
Yeah.
And anything else? There's there's Pokemon Legends in January into February.
I'm interested to see how they do that game. I really am.
Yeah, well, I'm going to be playing it on the Switch, so because that's the only place that it's going to be anyway. So, yeah, so the next Pokemon game, Elden Ring, Far Cry 6, and Among Us on Xbox at some point. Whenever Among Us actually comes out, because I do have it pre-ordered for a physical copy of it. Because there are some games that actually want a copy of.
Yep.
And Among Us is definitely one of them. But beyond that, for games, I don't have anything planned. The only thing coming up for games that I need information on is and in the case of one of them, is only because of the rumored release date is supposed to be the beginning of September, except for the game has not officially got an announced release date yet, and the game hasn't really been shown off or really talked about by 2K, and that's WWE 2K22. Which means if it's coming out September 10th, it needs to be, like, for example, at fucking Gamescom, for example. Or they need to, like, officially announce that it's not coming in September, that it's actually coming out in October, like it usually has, like, every time before. Or just clarify some shit, which Take-Two apparently is not interested in doing at this point in time. But it is what it is. But beyond that, I don't have much else planned at this point in time, other than stuff on the back burner, like doing an Is It Worth It for Madden, or doing an episode of Is It Worth It, which I don't think I have done for Mass Effect Legendary Edition once I get through Mass Effect 3 on it. Although I feel like I probably could just do that, like, tomorrow anyway. For example, well, when I say do it tomorrow, I mean film it tomorrow, but episodes of Is It Worth It, the gaming edition of it, for this channel, normally airs on Saturdays on the channel, so I would film it on whatever given day, and then you guys would see it on Saturday anyway, so, potentially.
Yeah.
So, I do want to do it, and Is It Worth It for this Saturday? I'm just not sure if it's going to be Mass Effect or Madden at this point. I lean towards probably doing it for Madden because that comes out on Friday, effectively. Just to capitalize on the fact that it just came out. So, and just talk about my experience with what I was able to do with it at this point. Well, with that being said, thank you for checking this out, everybody. If you liked it, please hit the like button. If you disagreed with anything that I said, hit the dislike, guilt-free. Subscribe while you're here. Check out this channel for other content like this, and also for me playing games on the channel. Because on Sundays I am trying to play through Fallout 4 for the PlayStation 4 without mods. And also check out the Twitch channel for me playing anything from the Xbox when I do play stuff live over there for Xbox games, which I do port over to this channel anyway. And also check out the Drewdat Entertainment channel for Breaking Rocks and the upcoming Drewdat Entertainment podcast, which will be generally talking about Tom McDonald's music coming up. Mostly lately, because that's all I really do at this point for entertainment stuff.
Yep.
And also, hopefully, I've been meaning to actually watch on Disney Plus Bad Batch, so hopefully the first episode of that podcast will be talking about that then. And I'm thinking about finally getting into watching that on Saturday after work, but we'll see what happens. If not, like, this evening or something. But with that being said, everyone, since we're over an hour, take care of yourself. We'll see you. What day is Wednesday next week? Is that the 23rd? Because I feel like Wednesday next week is one of those events between Gamescom and Xbox next week.
Maybe it is.
If that's the case, then do you want to try to do this, like, depending, what time is even the fucking thing?
I don't even know.
Well, since we're here before we leave, we might as well get that point across. So Gamescom 2021. Yeah, that website's not going to help any. Officially begins Wednesday the 25th. And then Friday. So, I think that stream, yeah, is the 25th. Yeah. So that actually is Wednesday.
Oh, yep.
And then the Xbox is that's the Breaking Rocks notebook. I want that one. And then the 24th. So actually Tuesday is the Xbox event next week. So Tuesday after work for me. And then Wednesday is Gamescom. Let's see what the start times are, because I don't remember. Okay, is at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern. So that'll be 1 in the afternoon on Wednesday. So that means Wednesday evening we would be doing this the same day after the event then. Would you be down for it then?
Possibly.
Alright. So then that's what I think. What's that?
I said, by that I mean, yeah, sure.
Alright, so that's, I guess, going to be our plan for next Wednesday. We're gonna have to watch Gamescom, get our notes straight, and then film this for you guys next Wednesday. Because Gamescom is the same day. So that means that notes for the Xbox event are gonna have to be in order even before Gamescom starts. Then.
Oh well.
So yeah, so that's gonna be the plan. Gamescom next Wednesday, and then this right afterwards. So with that being said, we'll see you guys next week to talk about Gamescom and review that and the Xbox event for for Tuesday and Wednesday. With that being said, see you next week for all of that. Have yourselves a great night, and we'll see you next week. Later, guys.
Yep. Later, guys.